to jump on. Welcome, everybody. We are very excited and honored to have Dr. Nicholas, the leading authority in our LifeWave technology and the stem cell technology. Dr. Nicholas, I believe it's been 11 years. He has been using in this technology and involved with this technology. And we have a very special call with him to share his story. And then we're going to have a question and answer session for you so you can get very knowledgeable about the product, the technology, how it works, the best way to use the technology. Dr. Nicholas has some fantastic protocols and has seen some just amazing results with this technology. But understand, when you are asking your questions, please do not make any medical claims. We don't make any medical claims or diagnose or cure anything with our technology. The body does the healing. This technology stimulates certain aspects of the body to help create it, to help accelerate and to create that healing process. But Dr. Nicholas is fantastic. We appreciate your time and helping us to with our European expansion, and we are excited about that. Everybody's in lockdown again. Everybody's got, we've got everybody's attention. So Dr. Nicholas, I'm going to turn it over to you and welcome. And we will put it on speaker view for everybody. And then we'll do questions and answers. But if you just want to start with your story, there are so many new people joining our team throughout Europe. So we've got an exciting time happening. But if you can start with your story and a little bit about your background, would be absolutely fantastic. Turning it over to you, Dr. Nicholas.
Thanks, Jason. Yeah, it's an honor to be here with everybody. I know it's such a weird time and it's a good thing and a bad thing. So at least we're all here to converse and catch up and kind of unite and see if we can really help people and help ourselves. So yeah, LifeWave, 12 years. I found LifeWave 12 years ago in November of 2008. And my wife at the time was having a lot of health issues. So I was very, very interested in looking for alternative therapies. I got to the point where I was trying anything because she had, I'll just talk symptoms. I won't get into any of her diseases. So we'll just say she was losing eyesight. She was losing memory. She had whole body pain. She was having heart issues. She was having digestive issues. You name it, it seemed like she was having it. So, when you start having these kind of problems and medicine isn't working, and I lived a pretty healthy, holistic life, you start to get to the point of, I need to do something. So one of our patients came into our office, and I was still practicing chiropractic at the time. And so this patient gave us an article by Life Extension magazine, and it talked about light therapy. And I was just getting really big into lasers, cold laser therapy. And it was an article written by Suzanne Summers. So she talked about light, and she talked about her book that she had just written called 8 Steps to Wellness, called Breakthrough. And so we went and got the book, and each chapter in the book was talking about different, alternative nutraceutical natural therapies. Very controversial. I mean, obviously this is 12 years ago, now it's not, but it was on stem cell therapy. It was on bioidentical hormones. It was on different types of nutritions that were doctors were healing people with these natural therapies. So we started reading the book, going through different chapters, not really seeing the results as we were trying the therapies. And then it was the very second to the last chapter in the book that talked about LifeWaves. And so the interview between David Schmidt and Suzanne Summers was very fascinating. And she talked about how, he talked about how it was actually initially made for our US military over 20 years ago. So this is not new at all. And he was developing survival equipment for our Navy SEALs mini sub program. And one of the therapies he developed were one of the patches that burn energy or make energy. And so, when you read that, you're very intrigued, but it sounds almost too good to be true, but it's what if. So the number was in the back of the book. I called LifeWave and said, hey, I want to order this stuff. And they said, well, who told you about it? I said, Suzanne Summers. And they said, well, you have to sign up under somebody. And it didn't register in my brain what that meant. I just said, okay, I want to try this. So we got the product sent to us. And I didn't have anybody explain it to me or tell me how to use it. I just started looking at the little diagrams, and they had the patches are actually larger than they are now. They're actually about the size this big. And I started wallpapering Joan with these. So I just called it the wallpaper effect. Went it out, put more on. And, I didn't really see any changes. It was kind of frustrating. I thought, well, maybe we just wasted a bunch of money. And so I checked in on her throughout the day, and she didn't really seem like much was happening until towards the evening. Then all of a sudden I started noticing her energy level was increasing, her pain levels were kind of subsiding. She was just moving around like she felt better. And I'm like, "Are you feeling okay?" And she said, "Yeah, I feel great. Let's go out." And normally on a normal day with her was she'd be laying down in pain, suffering really severely. And I'd have to literally just drag her home, put her to bed, and that was our day. And so I thought, well, this is maybe a fluke thing. Let's just wait and see what happens. And so the very next day, she's telling me how her eyesight's improved. Like she can see better. All of her little floaters in her eyes are gone. And so that got us really, really excited. So some things are really starting to happen here. And so all of our patients were asking us, well, what do you do? And what'd you do? And I said, I don't know. And I didn't. I just said, here, put these on and tell me what you feel. And one by one, everybody started getting these really exciting changes. And it just kind of went viral through our practice. And, it just changed everything within like a week. Joan was better than she was before she got sick. And so we had people
okay.
coming from all over the place to want to find out what we were doing because nobody knew about this. And LifeWave is a 16-year-old company. And at the time, it had been out for 4 years and nobody still really knew about it, even though it's in Suzanne Summers' book now. And she's written about it in the last 6 out of 8 books. So it's almost like there's a real tipping point happening. People are really interested in light therapy. It's more like the energy medicine concept. And you guys in Europe are really more open to this. It's, it's probably more mainstream to you than it is for us in the US. But again, it's really, the technology just changed our whole practice. So we went part-time doing LifeWave as a business for 2 years and then went full-time in 2010. And so that's kind of been my personal experience with the product. And then here I am now trying to help people not make the mistakes that I made, so then you can get better results faster and use one patch or combination of patches. They're all good. They all work great. I don't think one's better than the other. I mean, X39 is the one that's kind of the new kid on the block that's gotten lots of attention, and I think it deserves it because it is a very powerful patch. And if you only use this one patch, you will probably get all the changes you want. It just depends on how long. Some people it's right away. Some people it can take 3 or 4 months. It just depends on you, your lifestyle, and those are the common factors. And so I like to explain it a little bit. So the therapy is called phototherapy. As you see in here, it's called phototherapy, light therapy. The scientific terminology is photobiomodulation. So the way I like to explain it to a patient, so it's kind of more layman's terms, is when you stand out in the sun and the sun hits your skin, you make a suntan or vitamin D. Okay, that's photosynthesis. It's what makes a tree or a plant grow. So our body takes in that light and creates a very specific chemical reaction, and that's how we develop vitamin D in our bodies or a suntan. So the science is the same in the patch. The patch has very specific organic amino acids, sugar and water that formulate into these tiny little crystals. So under a microscope, it looks like a salt crystal, for instance. And so the patch is non-transdermal, meaning nothing goes in your body. Nothing transfers into your bloodstream. There's no chemical, there's no drugs. And it's emitting a light frequency, a wavelength of light at an FM radio frequency. So it's a wireless communication system. And David figured out how to use the body heat to activate the material to start reflecting light back into the body. So that's the simplest scientific terminology for it. So each patch has a different wavelength of light. So on a light spectrum, red's this long, green or blue or yellow, orange to be like these lengths. So the length determines what it is. So that's how he's figured out how to do the magic that he does, and it is proprietary. So I'm only going on what I've heard him say in terms of like how the therapy works. So he's took about 10 years to develop X39. We do have studies now where there are more coming out, and they're showing through blood testing by Dr. Melinda Connor. She's a scientist, researcher, PhD, Harvard grad. She used to work for Dr. Andrew Weil here in Tucson, Arizona, and his program. And then she went off on her own to do her own research in lab. And so she did some studies over 2 years ago now and show that we actually can show we're increasing the GHK copper peptide. So this is the peptide that the patch is actually increasing. So this peptide is already naturally occurring in our body. And so what we want to do is, if we can increase it even higher, it makes your stem cells that you have left in your body start acting and moving faster and younger. So for instance, when you're a baby, you have 1 billion stem cells. By the time you hit 60, you only have 10% left, which is why your body heals so much slower from an injury or a surgery, recovers so slow, or if you fall, you don't get up as fast as you used to, or you may not at all, and you just lay there in pain. So that means there's more inflammation and less stem cells. So now we're actually able to increase the activity of the stem cells, and they're turned on by inflammation. So inflammation is like a fire, and the stem cells like the firemen, and they're going and putting out the fire. And it's actually showing it's regenerating the body. So the elevation of the peptide does actually many other things. And I always encourage people to Google it, GHK-CU or GHK. There's 2 different peptides. And you can see the other health benefits. There's many, there's actually a lot. And so, but we like to stay in the lane of activating the stem cell to make stem cell, the body's own stem cells start to regenerate the body itself. And people are reporting back many healings. It's really easy how you use the patch, how Jason was asking me to show, you know, for placement wise. Again, here's what it looks like. If you've not seen one yet, about the size of a quarter, very thin, like a Band-Aid, non-allergenic adhesive. You peel the back off, stick it on the back of the neck at C7 or below the belly button are the 2 suggested placements. They did studies on the patch. They did them on those 2 points because it's the most common used. But again, you can put it on your big toe. You can put it on your knee. If your knee hurts, I've had people put it on their knee and say it helped the symptoms get even better faster than putting it on the back of the neck. But again, mind you, it works systemically throughout your whole body. The studies show all the organs, the whole body had an effect, no matter where you put the patch. But for more symptom relief, more feeling better, put it where it hurts, and you'll probably see more of a significant response. I've had people use more than one. I do have a YouTube channel I put up to try to give some people some general, very basic, very simple protocols to patch. It's just my name, Nicholas Tivoli, DC. And you can watch me patch a person and get a visual of how to do it for like a shoulder, elbow, wrist, or ankle, knee, hip kind of thing. And again, very simple, so it's not complicating. The whole goal of this therapy is to duplicate. You got to be able to do this. You don't have to have me. You know, I mean, I'm honored and grateful, but I need to keep it so simple that anybody can do it. And then you don't have to feel like you got to be a doctor, because it's not the way this works. So keep it simple, keep it real, and you'll get the results. Just get the patches on people and you'll get the results. So that's it, Jason, and hope that helps. If you got any questions, we can go to the questions now.
Absolutely, Doc. Fantastic. John, I'm going to turn it over to our superstar, John Kavanaugh. He's got a great testimony with technology also, and he's going to help facilitate the question and answer session. So John, over to you, my friend. John, we're not able to hear you.
Hi, Jason.
There you are.
Okay? Yeah, it helps if you unmute yourself.
It's a minor little technical,
Yeah,
things
exactly.
with Zoom.
You don't have to be too bright to be involved with this technology. Dr. Nicholas, great to have you with us again. And we got so much value last time. And thanks for that basic foundational information. Some of the questions, and people are posting some questions as we speak, have come up on in terms of expectations, Dr. Nicholas, in terms of us managing customer expectations around time. I think you alluded there, some people get results sometimes very, very quickly. Others, it can lead into weeks and months. And we've already heard that in these early months in the UK and Ireland. Any positioning statement you'd recommend? Is it just trial and error?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it is. So I honestly like to tell patients, I want you to give it a fair try, at least 30, 60, 90 days. Any therapy you do, any type of healing or care that doctors or therapists recommend, it isn't a quick, here, try it once. You know what I mean? That's not how it works. You really want to, I really like to undersell it and let it over deliver, because more times than not, if you write down all your symptoms and your problems, you'll be surprised at how many it addresses and how many things it changes that you didn't even expect. I mean, it's supposed to work on your skin, your hair, your eyes, your internal organs, your nails, everything. And if you're not paying attention, you know, you don't even realize how your skin starts to look better, or the fine lines and wrinkles are disappearing, or scars are disappearing, age spots are disappearing. There's so many of these little subtleties, but then we're still waiting for it to fix my back pain or my knee pain. You know what I mean? So the body works on priorities. It's taking that light energy and it's going to turn those stem cells on, and they're going to go where it is the most life-threatening critical situation. So you could be in pain and say, my knee hurts, and why isn't it fixing my knee? And I guarantee you, if you did lab work, you would see on blood analysis to show that it's actually making changes on other things that you don't feel, like high blood pressure or high A1C levels, or, you know, liver enzymes. There's different things that are going on in your body that you don't really feel. Okay. So by the time you feel it, probably 80% of the problem's been there. And so once we get that under that threshold where you don't feel it, you think I'm fine, but there's a lot of things that you don't feel. And that's what this healing is doing. This light therapy is doing. So I really try to give that patient or people that expectation of, you know, it's a process, not an event, you know, minimum 30, 60, 90 days. You know, I had a lady on a call a couple of weeks ago, and she had the symptoms of her pain in her feet and the numbness and tingling, you know, without getting into the disease name. She just did it for 4 months and it cleared it up. It took 4 months, but she stuck through it. You know, she didn't know what else to do. She didn't have anything else. She's tried everything else. And she's 76 years old, and now she can feel her feet again. I mean, it's just how it works. So long answer, but I hope it gives enough clarity.
We just soak up every bit of information with the experience you've got, Dr. Nicholas. It's really valuable. You mentioned about obviously you could apply, there are certain recognized positions to put the X39 specifically, but you could put it at the source of discomfort or pain.
Absolutely.
Is there any value in or maximizing or even increasing the benefits for certain people if they were to maybe use a single patch in the nominated, you know, at the base of the neck, for instance, or below the belly button, and apply where the area of pain is? I mean, is there any evidence of increasing benefits if you're willing to invest more on a daily basis in those 12-hour?
Yeah. So, I mean, I've had people tell me, hey, both my knees hurt. They put one on the one knee and the pain went away, they said, but the left knee still hurt. So they took another one out and put it on the other knee, and voila. So, I mean, it's safe. It's okay. There's no side effects. You cannot overstimulate the body. So, you know, do your, you know, trial and error. It's a trial. You know, we don't know. We know we haven't done studies on it to prove, yeah, if you use more than one, you're going to get more benefit or not. But we know you're not going to overstimulate the body. So if you want to try that, it's okay. You know, everybody's different. So I'm really about trying to empower people to experiment, you know, because I can give you the best things that I've seen and you can say none of them work. And then somebody tells you something so off the wall, you go, well, how'd that work? It's going to be different for everybody. So, yeah.
Yeah. And the reason I asked Dr. Nicholas is just a colleague of mine, long-standing friend, had quite a major knee surgery. He's all stitched up. He's had a very successful procedure. And I look at the pictures and I think, wow, we need a few X39s there
Right.
to maybe help help accelerate wherever possible. I guess it is, as you say, it's a case of just going for it. There's no real downsides to attacking it with more vigor. No, great. Icewave is obviously, I believe, probably the second best-selling product or most popular product in the range. Is again, if somebody tries the X39, would it be based on it may take days or weeks, depending on the individual, to experiment with Icewave that seems to have quite a history of producing very consistent, you know, fairly fast results as well.
Yeah, Icewave is really specific for just pain. Excuse me. So what it's doing is it's lowering a temperature variation about 4 degrees in 5 minutes. So what it's actually doing is it's increasing circulation through the area. So that's why that moving the patch around, that circular pattern, you're trying to find a pathway that opens up the flow of energy to allow that circulatory thing to happen. So one patch puts energy into that point and one pulls it out. So that's that circulatory effect. And when you move it around, you know, you can even go this slow in this movement instead of 12, 3, 6, 9, and just see which point or which angle can really increase that release. And you'll see a significant pain response for healing recovery. And so, yeah, again, if you mix and match combinations, think of it like a good, better, best protocol. Yeah, you'll see. So X39 was never developed to be for pain relief, but it makes sense why people are getting some and not all. But what we're doing is we're just trying to increase the stem cell activity. And again, the stem cells are going to go where the biggest priority is. It may not be the pain spot. So that's where IceWave comes in. IceWave is really specific just for pain only. It is a little bit more involved. It's a little bit more complicated. That's the part that people, you know, get kind of, you know, they lose their interest with it because it's so much. And if they don't get the results, they go, oh, it's not working. It isn't that's not working. It's just other priorities working on the body.
Yeah, and I guess, Dr. Nicholas, regarding X39, as you introduced it, it covers so many possibilities that I guess while it's doing its work under the bonnet, so to speak, to use a car analogy, that we can't see, the more detailed a questionnaire or survey that we can provide to somebody starting the journey so that they are more likely to pick up some of the different benefits that may not seem as urgent to them, but it gives evidence that something positive is taking place. I guess that's best protocol to deliver that information to customers and
Right.
have them watch, you know, attentively.
Yeah, so in the back of the website on lifewave.com, you have under a resource page, there's a health tracker sheet, and it gives you like day 1, day 7, like to track your problems or symptoms. And it's a nice way to really get into what challenges you have and see what things are changing over a period of time, because again, you don't know when it's going to happen and what all it's going to affect. But I mean, people's energy gets better, their sleep gets better, their strength, their stamina, the recovery time in the gym. It's subtle and some of it's really fast, but you never know when. And if you're not paying attention, writing it down, you'll miss it. And I've seen it happen. I mean, I've seen people say, oh, it's not working. And they you can tell they look younger. You can tell they look stronger, you know, but they're not paying attention to that, you know? So that's the difficult part of the therapy, the product that people kind of run into. So you're now dealing with things like a doctor or practitioner run into, you know, by getting people to follow through a standard of care. If you really followed it, you'd probably get the results you're looking for, you know? So that's the part that you have to do your education and due diligence and try to get people to try it and stick with it long enough.
Yeah. So Dr. Nicholas, would you say that maybe some of the reasons that a lot of people don't really maximize on the possibilities is that they just don't stick with it long enough? Because it's a strange phenomena to myself when I look at, we come from a background of going to our trusted doctor and taking a medication and sometimes taking it for years beyond when it was actually needed, and we don't question it. And yet somehow when you offer something to somebody like this, they sort of expect, you know, some sort of miracles overnight. Would you say that's probably one of the top reasons why customers don't get the full results that they could?
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at something this isn't something you've taken as a pill. You're not rubbing it on, you're not drinking it, you're not eating it. It's non-transdermal. Again, it's sort of, again, futuristic a little bit. So people, but again, are getting more open to that concept. So the big thing for me is I like to wow people. I like to get them an experience. And then based on that experience, I can keep their attention long enough to get them what they're looking for. And then do the education over that time period to say, you know, we're all under stress. We're all under toxicity. There's all these EMFs, all these things that are constantly bombarding our bodies. And let's face it, we're all going to die. It's just what's the quality of life we're going to do it in. So this is why David's inventing these types of therapies, really to slow the aging process down. And now with X39, it's proving it's reversing the body's age, you know? And so for people who are into the stem cell injections, but can't afford it, this is the alternative for the masses that can't afford it. And that's why this thing went viral. Okay. This is why people are really into this, because We're dealing with our own stem cells. It's natural, okay? Not putting anything in. It's not super expensive. So why wouldn't you stick on it? You know what I mean? So if you put it in a perspective that they can go, oh yeah, that makes sense, kind of. You know, I have patients that have been on it since I started 12 years ago, and they're religiously taking it, and they look and feel better than they ever have. And they do hormone testing or different labs, and they're saying it's still showing it's working.
Brilliant.
You know?
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Dr. Nicholas, I just have a couple of final questions that I've accumulated from others, and then I'll just go to some of the chat messages there. Firstly, David Smith recently did an exciting presentation on X39 in conjunction with glucosamine. Again, for those that missed that or maybe weren't even started using the products or the technology, but have you personally seen that protocol, you know, the use of the two together and the benefits of glucosamine?
Yeah, it's actually glutathione. It's our yellow patch.
Yeah, sorry,
okay.
glutathiones. Yes, absolutely.
So let me explain what is glutathione. Glutathione is your body's master antioxidant. Okay, like vitamin C is a antioxidant.
Sorry,
so one molecule,
I don't know what I've done, but
I'm sorry. Okay, so one molecule of glutathione can neutralize 1 million free radicals in the body 3 times before it neutralizes itself. One molecule of vitamin C can neutralize 1 free radical, and then it's neutralized out. So this is why this is so powerful. So David's trying to give examples of like how X39 and glutathione work so well together, or X39 and carnosine work well together. Again, for good, better, best, depending on what kind of problems you may have, and how to, again, keep it very simple to utilize them together. And I mean, that's what got me involved with Lifewave. I was big into using IV drips and nutritional components to elevate glutathione. And when I read this little patch will elevate your own glutathione levels 300% in 24 hours, that's like medically unheard of. That got my attention. So that's why I got involved. X39 actually does, to a degree, increase glutathione. It's really interesting, all the other benefits X39 does, but nothing as close as to this. So yeah, David likes to share X39 and how it does work in conjunction with some of the other patches. Now, if you only want to use X39, by far you're fine. But if you want to increase some other healing benefits, like again, how fast you want to get to New York or Los Angeles, you can fly, you can walk, you can take a bike, you can, you know, where I'm in the US, maybe not you guys, but yeah, so there's things to do that you can get there faster for some people who need more results quicker.
Yeah, brilliant. And again, I should apologies for that mispronunciation there. I use glutathione myself. With that patch, does it matter if you're wearing, say you have a protocol of wearing X39 for 12 hours during the day and the glutathione overnight? They don't necessarily have to be worn at the same time?
No. So that's the cool part is David gives some suggestions, like some people wear it during the day together, or mix one during the day, one at night. I like having a constant benefit, which means like I'm giving my body constant light therapy. So I wear a combination during the day personally and a combination personally at night. So I'm constantly giving my body. So I don't want to do the same patch 24/7 so it doesn't acclimate to it, but do something different. So personally, I like that, you know, way of doing things. So there's a constant signaling of healing.
Brilliant. And just one final question, which is quite an important question, Dr. Nicholas, before I just go to a couple of the questions there. What would be your takeaway statement? Because obviously we're not in the business of guaranteeing or making claims, etc., or really diverting people from any current treatments or medications, etc. What is there a simple sort of positioning statement that you would give to somebody that's maybe using medications or has a particular condition?
I mean, I honestly keep it real simple. I like to tell people, you know, look, if you're looking for an alternative therapy, try this before you go into expensive therapies, you know, and I'm not trying to take away from other therapies at all. I think they all work. You know, we just want to say, here's something I've tried. I've seen some really almost unbelievable changes in people. and give it at least a try. 30 days, money back guarantee. You have nothing to lose, so no risk. Get them on a call. Get them to see the testimonials on the website. There's so many. So it just keeps it simple, you know. And I don't like to get into blowing it out of proportion. Oh my God, it's going to heal you 100% if you tried this one time, you know, because you get so excited. You want to share it like that, and you can turn people off, and you don't want to do that. So again, I like to undersell it and let it kind of over deliver. And more times than not, they'll get some big changes. And, you know, when they do, I'm like, wow, that's great. You got even more than you expected. You know what I mean? So keep it simple, keep it calm, not too wild, but, you know, that excitement does sell, but not too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, brilliant. So just go to a couple of questions here, Dr. Nicholas. Somebody's asked here, how can the X39 help with nerve damage? Could it speed up healing with physio? I don't know if that.
Yeah. So, okay. So again, if you want to look it up, look up GHK copper-cu under Wikipedia, or if you plug it into PubMed, which is our public government library of medicine. The science, if it gets on that website, it's the gold standard, double-blind, placebo-controlled, and it goes into all of the benefits. And one of the main benefits elevating this peptide does is nerve regeneration. It's very fascinating what all the things it does. But yes, that's one of the things it does do.
Yeah, fantastic. Couple of other questions here. The lady's just asking about, she's actually referring to a skin condition which seems to have got worse since using the patches. She's actually suggested that the skin has become very dry, like sand falling off her body. Again, I presume on a very simplistic level, some people can, a very small minority of people could have a reaction to an adhesive. Could that be it, or regular?
Absolutely.
Using?
So again, it's a non-allergenic adhesive, but how often are we putting on Band-Aids every day on our body? So again, your skin, my skin included, I cannot put them right here. Skin drives me crazy. And as soon as I put it on, it's itchy. Sides of my knees, can't put it there. Back of the neck, I've been great, below the belly button, you know, but you have to get creative. Now, if it's starting to bother your skin 100% too much, like it did for Dr. Joan for a while, you can wear it over your clothing. It works 100% active, being 3 to 6 inches near or on you. Okay, so get that. You don't even have to take the back off to get it to work. So this, me holding it right now, it's fully activated. So I tell people, you know, just stick it on the inside of your clothes and have it, you know, adhere to the clothing or whatever you would like to try, or stick it in your pocket. It's fully activated. You're getting the full benefit. Okay. So she can be detoxing. Make sure you're staying really hydrated. Water's key. I've seen people have some very strange skin reactions and then it goes away. So your skin is like your largest organ that your body breathes through, actually, and then it's your first line of defense, and then it's your lungs. So I've seen people have the retracing experience happen. Lung condition shows up, then goes away, and then all of a sudden shows up in their skin. So when they were a kid, they had a skin reaction to something that drove into the body, into the lungs, and then they had a lung condition. So this reverses it back out of the body. I've seen this. It could be that. So, you know, I mean, I know the patches are safe and there's zero side effects to it. So I tell people, if it's too weird or uncomfortable, take the patch off, quit using it, or use it less, maybe an hour a day, and then, or, you know, 6 hours a day or something like that. And, you know, build it up and see if your body slower to detox or slower to have a reaction. And most of the time it does clear up really quick and passes. But when it happens, it's very strange, it's very weird, it's very uncomfortable. We don't want to have any bad things. So that's the part that, you know, people, they want to feel great and clear up everything miraculously, or feel, they don't want to feel bad, and they don't, or nothing. So that's the challenge. That the healing is always about sometimes feeling, and it could feel good, it could feel bad, because it's purging. You know, people, when you detox isn't always peace, love, and joy. It could feel really yucky, you know, and that's part of what happens.
Yeah, fantastic, fantastic. Had a question here, Dr. Nicholas, that somebody's referring to about somebody who's lost their eyesight or their vision, etc. Have we heard feedback over the years from people reporting any improvements in vision or?
Absolutely. So Dr. Jones, she had the little floaters in her eyes. So her mother was living with us at the time that also had the same problem, and that leads to your eyesight basically going away. So the retina detaches, and that's part of why glutathione is so powerful for eyes. Okay, skin, liver included. So we actually would take the patch and put it over her eye when she would sleep. So like on a sleep mask. So glutathione does something very powerful for your eyes. So does carnosine. Carnosine regenerates tissue. So before X39, those were the go-to patches for any eye condition. That's what we were using. And it really was doing some super successful things. Now, since this thing came on the block, X39, it's doing all kinds of really exciting things. So I usually tell people, you know, try and wear it at night over your eyes or near it, maybe on the side of the eye or an eye mask over the eye. And it does not affect it in a negative way. But I've seen it do even more dramatic healing to the eye.
Fantastic.
Okay? Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Question from Caroline. I think I'm not sure when Caroline joined, but I think we sort of touched on this early on. If someone has chronic pain, or would you suggest X39 or perhaps LifeWave first, etc.? And I guess is that a case of trial and error?
Yeah, it really is. So before X39, we use LifeWave, glutathione, and Eon. Those three were the pain management combination of patches that they used to sell as a combination for pain management. So it's interesting that glutathione and Eon, and again, that's what I like about those is they're so simple. One patch, stick it on top of each other like a pancake on the point of pain. You know, then you don't have to do the clock method if you want to experiment with just those two. So I will try this on a patient and this one like this on top of each other on the point of pain, and I see a significant pain reduction. Eon is an anti-inflammatory, anti-stress. Pain is usually an inflammatory response and stress. Glutathione, toxicity. So if I get a pain response from either one of these, this is how I get patients educated on, well, what is glutathione? You got a toxic buildup that can cause a stress in the body, cause pain. And if we get pain relief, then they get educated on the value and benefit, because it's easy to get somebody out of pain, in my opinion. So you don't need LifeWave. LifeWave is great for quick healing, pain relief, but I'm trying to get people sold on wellness care, long-term healing, continue care. That's where these come into play. And now this one, or just this one only. So that's where they get into, okay, you want to stay healthy, you want to stay well, keep your problems at bay, stay on this for life, period. If you want to do 3, this is my magic combination. And I show that on those videos on my YouTube channel. Okay.
Fantastic, fantastic. Bill Royce has asked, Dr. Nicholas, we see great pictures of older people's results, but they have a lot less stem cells to work with. So can you explain how people with fewer stem cells can get such great results? He's probably having a dig at me with my age, because Jason often jokes that he just got to me in time at age 65. So could you just expand on that at all? So
what and again, if you look up GHK-CU, especially under the Wikipedia version, it talks about how it takes a skin cell, a dermal cell, and reverses it back into a stem cell to become something else. Okay, are you getting that? So we don't know. David said he did not know if this was going to work on anyone over 70, because you no longer have stem cells and you no longer have cell division. Your body it stops at age 70. So by elevating this peptide, though, things are happening, and we're seeing it on 70, 80, 90-year-olds. So that's the only answer I can come up with. But again, I like to revert back to the Wikipedia one, because it talks about dermal skin cells reversing back into a stem cell. And that's the only answer I can come up with. I mean, it's that fascinating. And we know it's actually healing gene expression. So like when a gene gets worn out or breaks down, you know, this is part of the body's breaking down in disease setting, and it's showing it's repairing and regenerating, you know, different genes. And that's what it's, so it's kind of a multifaceted thing that's happening. But again, we just try to stick with stem cell activity, but there's a lot of others. So that's why I like people reading up on that. So you can go, oh my goodness, there's so much more, what it's doing to your lungs, what it's doing to your brain. I mean, it's a lot. It's really fascinating.
Fantastic. Just race through a few last ones. Caroline's just asked, would it help people with, say, autoimmune conditions?
Well, again, we don't want to make any claims.
No.
We just say an autoimmune issue is probably, you know, like a prolonged inflammatory response. So we like to just say, let's just get the inflammation under control, and the body's healing itself. It's not us doing it. It's the patch just helping lower different inflammatory issues. So the body's going to do the healing. Okay. We're just using a form of light therapy to heal the body. So yeah, I would just stick with that.
Great. Giselle, I see you say you'd like to ask a question, please. I don't know if that means texting or asking live. If you just hold off if it's live, just before we just round up. Somebody's asked here, yeah, I think we've covered that one. Is there any overlap between the aloe vera patch and the glutathione patch?
No, so aloe vera was our pre-X39 regeneration phase, believe it or not. It is our skin care patch. It does do a form of regeneration. It's working on the front part of the brain, the pineal gland. And so that thing amplifies to the other centers of the brain. So it's kind of like the brain that controls the brain. And then it makes all the organs work better, which makes your skin look better. So it's truly the skin. If the skin looks healthier, that means your body on the inside's healthier. Okay. So that's kind of why that patch is so unique. I like it just because I sleep so much better with it. I have such vivid dreams. So that's my patch for sleeping. So again, I like using combinations. I love to sleep. I love the dreams. So I'm just always trying to do the maximum benefit of using the technology for myself and my own health, but not really so much like glutathione. So glutathione does help with your skin as well, just because it detoxes the body, detoxes the skin, you know, but the aloe vera is doing something very unique with making the skin regenerate from the inside.
Thank you. Thank you. A couple of quick questions here that tap into, I guess, one of the most common questions. This person here said, what's the longest you can safely wear the patch? Also, can you put more than one at different, we've covered that, different parts of the body for speedy recovery. And Mary has just referred to 12 hours on, 12 hours off. It needs rest time like day and night. Could you just, anything you could just throw in there, Dr. Nicholas, on this 12-hour period of time and how, you know, and also you did mention that thing about somebody could arguably not take off the adhesive and have the patch, you know, if they were dealing with issues with the adhesive. Could you just touch on that 12-hour on and off?
Yeah, so David didn't want your body to acclimate to the frequency. It's like your body will, it can. They don't know when, they can't prove it, but he knows it will. So he was really specific about, you know, because some people are like, oh, I wore it for 3 days and I still felt that it was working, you know, and the science shows after about 24 hours, the materials inside of it no longer show the little tiny crystals. Well, it's because they dissolve. Okay. So then there's no reflecting of light back into the body because it's like a battery. It just wore out, you know, but you can't recharge it. So that's why it's a consumable patch. But he was really specific on the 12 hours on, 12 off. Now, IceWave, personally, I just say leave them on for 24 hours. So, but the other ones, 12 on, 12 off. So, because you're not going to use IceWave all the time, you know, and you're not going to acclimate to it because you're not using it all the time. So that's why I'm like, okay, just leave this on for 24 hours. You're fine. Just don't stack other patches on that one, so you don't have to worry about pulling those off and all that.
Fantastic. And with X39, Dr. Nicholas, has there ever been feedback about wearing the X39 during the day as opposed to nighttime when the body's resting? There's no evidence to suggest that you maximize on the benefits because the body's at rest or anything like that?
Yeah, that was a big question in the beginning. So it's kind of a personal preference. Like some people think, yeah, I'm sleeping. I want to do more healing. So I want more stem cell activity. Well, when you put the patch on, you're turning the stem cells on. When you take the patch off, they don't just stop working. They're still actively working. You know what I mean? Because of the elevation of the peptide. Even though you take the patch off, the signaling stops, but it's still up there in the body. Okay. So there's like a bell curve that happens. That's why that 12-hour on, 12-hour off kind of thing comes into place. So you're constantly not stimulating the body to keep increasing it. It actually still is increased even when you take the patch off. So the healing's still taking place. So yeah, you can try it at night or during the day. I like doing it during the day. It just worked for me. And some people say they like it better at night, but I like getting my full 12 hours during the day. Because I don't sleep 12 hours. So it kept it more consistent for me to put it on for 12, get up in the morning, slap it on, take it off before I go to bed, you know?
Fantastic. Giselle, if you're there, I think if you did want to ask a question, we're trying to stick to text questions right now, but if you're there and you've got a question, can you make it? We're going to round up in a few minutes.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Nicholas, for your time. I have a couple of questions. First of all, is there any Facebook page or any place where you could recommend where we can see different testimonials?
Oh, I know there's a lot. I don't personally, I've never been on Facebook actually. I mean, I am, but I'm not, so I don't really know. I know Lifewave started something. The corporate did themselves. But I don't know off the top of my head. So I'll look and try to get something back to Jason about that. But I know the company has just a ton on the website itself. And then there are some on YouTube. If you go to YouTube, type in Lifewave or Lifewave testimonials, you might see a bunch. I mean, there's a bunch. And I am really impressed with some of them. You know, some of them are making some claims, but some of them are just like, they're saying, hey, look, I did my own lab work and I can show before and after. You know what I mean? Like with blood pressure, for instance. There's a gentleman on there that's showing all of his lab for a month and how he got his blood pressure under control. But that's what I have. No Facebook page.
Okay, and then the other questions I have is the combination of the patches and the frequency. So I always love to, I look at myself as a bionic woman in a toxic world, and I love the fact that there's different patches and exploring and experimenting. But because there are quite a few, and I like to experience it myself to then be in a good position to recommend. So I started in October with X39, and then I started to include 2 or 3 times a week glutathione and 2 or 3 times a week carnosine. When we hit January, because of, you know, everyone's in lockdown and people are gaining weight, and I thought, right, now is a good time to try the SP6. So during the daytime, I'm wearing X39, the SP6 and the glutathione, and I'm alternating on the 3 points that are recommended. At nighttime, I've been wearing aloe vera. So I started to wear the carnosine at nighttime. And I like to wear Eon every once in a while. So I'm just wondering what would be the best protocol, because there's quite a few patches. And at the moment, what I'm doing is X39 glutathione SP6, carnosine aloe vera at nighttime, and maybe once every few days, I put the Eon on and I wore it for 24 hours, and then I didn't wear the SP6 and glutathione. But all the patches since I've started, I've always been wearing them 12 hours day 1 and 12 hours day 2. So I haven't been wearing a new patch every day, day 1, 12 hours, the next day, a new patch, 12 hours. So I'm just wondering, in what I've just said, if there's anything you can recommend, or if that sounds okay.
No, that sounds great. I mean, as long as you're feeling okay and you're feeling like you're getting the results you're looking for. Eon is an anti-stress. If you lower your stress, you lower your hormones. That's cortisol. Cortisol creates belly fat. Okay, so you want to keep that stress level down. So we're all under stress right now, especially under lockdown. So I like that patch for the lowering the stress hormone. See what I'm saying? So it may be a nice patch to incorporate more if you're noticing like you're just feeling sluggish, because it will help you kind of relax more into the stress levels that we're all under.
And
No,
would,
but-
and Dr. Nicholson, would you say with the Eon, is there any, would you say daytime or nighttime to wear it, or either is good?
It doesn't matter. Yeah, I wear it at night. I like to use it when I sleep.
And with the Eon, do you wear it 12 hours or 24 hours?
12. Yeah. 12 hours on, 12 off. Yep.
Okay.
Thanks, Giselle. We need to round up right now. Dr. Nicholas.
Ask a question, Dr. Nicholas.
Now, it needs to be 30 seconds.
No, it's less than 30 seconds.
Okay.
I have one of the clients, she used X39 and the glutathione, but she still have a severe reaction for her skin. She has candida infection, full stop, no more seconds. Yeah, what you can use? Candida infection, bad skin reaction, especially if she eats sweet or she has a stress. She struggles with skin reaction.
Yeah, so just have her not wear it on her skin.
Sorry?
Have her not wear it on her skin. Put it in your pocket of your clothes, or, you know, just don't put it on your skin. Just have her hold it. Hold it in your hand. It's fully activated. Just hold it in your hand right now.
Or I put it over the t-shirt or over under the vest or in the bra, but not straight away.
Correct. Correct. Yes, try that.
Excellent.
Thanks,
Thank you so
Manal.
much.
Thank you.
John.
Thank you, Manal. Dr. Nicholas, we're going to round up now. Two key questions. One, without stalking you, how could we get some specific questions? Because I know some of these questions have been quite specific. Where could we reach you? I see you've left yourself wide open by putting your email address there, the Gmail address.
Yeah, it's fine.
That may be why you put it there.
It's fine. I'm not fast at responding, so please bear with. Don't get frustrated if you don't hear from me in 3 days or a week. I mean, I have a lot of people to work with, and I try to do my best. Yeah, email me, because you guys are overseas, obviously, is the fastest way to connect with us. Make sure that you're on our email list, you know, drjoan9@gmail. You can email her and say, hey, I want to be on your email list. And you get our information that we send out via protocols or specifics on our calls that we do. And we record them, and then we can send the recorded call out, because obviously it's at a different time zone than you guys too. Okay.
Thank you. And could you just repeat that slowly, that Dr.
Yeah. Joan, Joan. So DRJOAN, the number 9@gmail.com.
Okay, if somebody could just type that in there for everybody, that would be great. And just as a final observation, Dr. Nicholas, you've obviously had the pleasure of being really a pioneer and have played a very major role in the rollout, and you've seen a lot happen with LifeWave as it's just grown from strength to strength. And with a perspective of how I feel about this, having been in the wellness space for decades, I know how unique a proposition we have. I know Jason shares that. Could you just try and put a perspective of where we are positioned with a technology like this in your view? How powerful or how unique do you see this?
You know, I think it's going to change the future of medicine. I think it already has. It's just the more and more people start finding out about it. So when I found it, I was like, oh my goodness, nobody knows about this. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my 12 and a half years of practice. And I saw a lot of alternative therapies, and I was very excited about them, but nothing came close to what this does. Nothing. For the price, and you can do it yourself, this is a big deal. And now the stuff that David's coming out with, I mean, David's a genius, and I don't say that lightly. Most people don't know any geniuses. Like Einstein was a genius. Who knew him? You know what I mean? So it's like we're in the right place at the right time with the right product, and the guy that's the inventor, and he's so humble, and he's coming from the right place. So I mean, I'm 100% here. I'm not going anywhere else, and I'm going to stay on these patches regardless of whatever happens with the world and everything else. I mean, I feel like I've seen it save so many people's lives. Like, and I mean that seriously, save lives more than once. Same people. Okay, this therapy you can use yourself to take care of so many problems. When in doubt, patch. Always do that. When in doubt, patch, and you'll be surprised. Even your animals. I patch my dog all the time. I mean, it just like it saves me money on vet bills. There's so many things. So, you know, you're like I said, I tell people you're in the right company for the right therapies, because there's nothing on the market like it. Nothing. So, and you can do it yourself.
Yeah,
All
fantastic,
right.
fantastic.
Well, we've got to wrap up. Dr. Nicholas has another call coming at him. And so team, Dr. Nicholas first, thank you very much for your continued support with our team and your education. We were getting a lot of great comments on Facebook Live. If people, we will have this recording made available to the team, but if you are on Stem Cells for Life, which is our team site, please, it's Facebook Live is there. Dr. Nicholas, thank you very much. John, you're fantastic.
Thank you.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the recording now.